Hey, it's Christian from Playfair Audio, and in this video I'll show you what it's like to mix the dynamic grading way. Dynamic grading is our amazing dynamics plugin, and if you get it, you'll probably never want to use a compressor again. But I won't tell you what to do, so just see for yourself and decide for yourself. In this video we'll work with our demo session that you can also download from our website. It's a multi-track session with project files for Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Ableton Live and Reaper. So if you want to try for yourself, just grab the demo session, there's a link in the description below. And if you don't have dynamic grading yet, it also works, of course, with the 14-day trial that you can also get on our website. First of all, let me quickly recap how dynamic grading works in general. It's all centered around these dynamic histograms for the input to the left and the output to the right. They are basically an overview of the dynamic range and tell you what is there in the audio in terms of dynamic range. And with these handles here, you can basically map parts of the dynamic range in the input to where you want them to be in the output. So, for example, if we just adjust it like this, this middle range here, for example, we call the body, which contains most of the musical information, what's kind of musically relevant in the overall audio. And if I squeeze it as seen from left to right, like this, I get compression in this body range. And similarly, I can also stretch it to get expansion. And you can do this with all three of these ranges. As I said, the middle one we call the body, which is where the notes are, sustains, and what you would call musically relevant. In the punch range above, there's transients and attacks. And in the floor, you typically have something like reverberation or noise. Here's another track. This is the drum bass, and I want to demonstrate basically what I think is kind of the dynamic grading power move, which is compressing the body range without doing anything to the other ranges. So let me just see how far I can take it here. Now I have a really squeezed body range, but the transients are still alive and sound like they were. That's because I left the punch range alone here. You couldn't do this with a normal compressor, because what it would do is this. It would kill all the transients. You can kind of counter that with adding a bit of attack time, but that's a bit imprecise to control because you can only control the time but not the level. And here you can control the level. You could also do something like this, probably with something like parallel compression, by adding the compressed signal to the original signal. That restores some of these transients and is a bit similar like this setting, but it's not really the same, but I need to make another video about that. What you still can't do with parallel compression though is this. Can exaggerate the punch range even more and kind of put the signal really in front of your listener. If you compress the punch range, on the other hand, you get a sense of distance. So that's a great way to create depth in the mix. But dynamic grading is more than just a neat alternative to compressors and expanders. It also comes with a whole new way of thinking about dynamics and working with dynamic range. If you look at our demo session, you'll notice that all the faders are at 0 dB, and typically dynamic grading would go in the last plugin slot of every track. And that way all instances share a common level scale. Minus 30 dB, for example, means the same across all instances. And that way you can visually arrange all the different tracks. In this session, the body regions of most tracks are arranged in the minus 30 to minus 40 dB range. These are the drums, for example. And these are some of the guitars. And the whole mix is basically built like that. The body ranges are arranged mainly around a common ballpark with enough room for just the right amount of punch. The end result is a mix that's really dense and powerful and balanced. All the elements are well audible and still the transients are fresh and alive. And it doesn't sound over compressed even when you compress really heavily in the body ranges. So if you want to try all this out, click the link in the description, download the project files and the 14-day trial of dynamic grading, try it out, and then get in touch. Let us know what you think in the comments. And that's it. Thanks for watching.